Hello, happy people, and welcome to your Moment of Zed, the YouTube channel dedicated to the most beautiful car in the world, the BMW Z3, or as the folks in Ashburton call it, the Z3. I'm Mark, and I'm here in a beautiful, balmy 43-degree Florida morning, our first cold spell of this year, and it's much needed and much welcomed. I am here to talk about a very simple problem that I had with my Z3, but there's a lot of possible solutions. As you can see, the stock shift knob has broken into pieces. I have, or had, the half wood grain plastic, half plastic with leather cover shift knob. And when I originally saw the problem I was starting to have, the shift knob felt looser, and I started seeing little plastic flakes in the shift boot, and the plastic was obviously from this inside plastic part that holds all this together. I originally thought it was just a plastic tube, and I was planning to do a video on how to rebuild the inside of this so you could just keep using it. But when it actually fell apart in my hand, and it's just from the plastic being old and brittle, can't even blame BMW at this point. After 26 or 27 years, when I saw how actually complex this interior plastic of this knob is, I said, there's really no chance I'm going to rebuild this thing. And it's very complex. This plastic piece has a slot in it that fits over the interior plastic, and it's really, it's pretty intricate. So I'm not going to be able to rebuild that. So I had to go with an aftermarket solution, and we're going to talk about that today. Also today, since this is a pretty short topic, I have some viewers' tips that they sent in. Now, I've done viewer tips videos before. I didn't have enough to do a full video, but I've had these on the back burner for a while. You viewers are nice enough to share these tips with me. I want to share them with everyone else, so I'm going to include that as a little bonus material today. But before we get to all that, we have 3 Zeds of the week. And first up, we have Dylan from New Zealand with his 2002 2.2-liter 5-speed Roadster in a beautiful pistachio green. We love pistachio green on the channel. This is his first car, which is a very cool first car to have. Now, since purchase, he has fixed the cam position sensors, fixed a leaky cam cover gasket, and done the brakes all around. He also switched to style 32 wheels. In this picture is his friend's nice C4 Corvette, which is also his friend's first car. He obviously has some very cool friends as well. Next up is Geir from Norway with his 1997 1.9-liter Roadster with 180,000 kilometers. Now, he bought this about 8 months ago and hasn't had to do anything but an oil change. Now, Geir lives up near the Arctic Circle, and I think he's our first Norwegian Zed, and I think our furthest north Zed, which is pretty cool, and he's invited me and the wife up to visit him someday, which I hope to do. Thank you so much. Last but not least, we have David from Wales with his 1998 1.9-liter 5-speed Roadster, which is a recent purchase. Now, during the winter storage season, he plans on putting on BC Racing coilovers, poly bushings, and new brakes all around. He also has another BMW product, a 2002 Mini Cooper, which he was doing a complete engine rebuild on. Very cool. Obviously, David is a skilled mechanic. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sharing your beautiful cars. If you'd like to see your car on Zed of the Week, please follow the easy instructions in the description below. Now, let's talk about those shift knobs. So in the search for a new shift knob, I originally thought I'd just stick with stock, do an exact replacement. So I kind of searched for that on places like FCP Euro and similar sites, the usual ones you might look at for parts. Didn't find mine at all. I found some other legitimate replacements, but they were all fairly expensive. I also took a look at websites for aftermarket ones that weren't BMW, maybe go with a little different style. Didn't see anything I particularly cared for a price I liked. I did find a inexpensive copy of mine on eBay. I looked at it. It looks pretty reasonable. But somewhere along the way, I decided to go with something a little bit different, but nothing radical. So I went with a product from Amazon, the Pursue Star Black Full Leather 5-speed manual shift knob for a bunch of different BMWs. And this is similar to one that you can find on FCP Euro and other similar websites for about $122. It looks exactly the same. This is made with an ABS plastic interior and then a leather exterior. The leather is not full grain leather. It's what's called bonded leather. So if you don't know, they basically take leather scraps, grind them up, mix it with some man-made materials, and bind that to a fiber backing. And it's leather. It's the lowest grade leather. But I think it looks pretty good. And by the way, I've got a link to this and all the other things I've shown in the description. So let's take a peek at the actual item. Almost forgot to mention that for 1/7 the cost, you get a shift knob that weighs 30% more than the original. My original one was 4.2 ounces. This is 5.6 ounces, and I kind of like that heavier shift knob a bit better. So here's what it looks like in the car itself. It has a nice stock look. It looks very solid. It looks well made. We'll see how the bonded leather wears. I'm sure it won't wear as good as the regular full grain leather. But it has a nice feel to it. It has a weighty feel. I've been using it for about a week. Very happy with it. So far so good. The only thing I would say about it is that it was a very, very tight fit. Of course, my old shift knob was so loose that I got used to being able to pull it on and off without a problem. This one has a very tight fit. I had to really press it in to make it click into the notch. And if you've ever put on one of these shift knobs, you know what I mean. And I was going to pull it off because I wanted to show you the inside of it during the video. And it really doesn't want to come back out. So I think this is going to be my permanent solution for a little while. That's the only thing I'd say about it is once it goes on, it seems to want to stay on. Now, I suppose I could really herk on it and get it back off, but I decided I wouldn't take a chance on breaking anything, and I'm happy with it, so I'm just going to leave it until it falls apart or until I sell the car, I guess. I don't know. So again, pretty happy with my purchase. And now for that bonus material I mentioned. First, we have Michael from New Jersey, who found a great source to buy and install a new convertible top, which is really a difficult job, and we've talked about it before. He found this source in New Jersey, DNR Auto and Boat, and he said they did a fantastic job for him at a cost of the top and installation, $2,000, and it took just a few days. Next, Nick, another viewer who was watching my spare tire delete video, and he decided he didn't want to delete a spare tire, but he found a legit replacement that is almost the same size at Discount Tire, and here's a look at that. Pretty reasonable cost. I think out the door with installation, he said it cost him about $120 with taxes and fees. And I will put the link to that in the description. Kumho tires are a reasonably well-known brand, and I think that's a decent way to go from the sound of it. Now here's Dave from Rhode Island with a suggestion if you need to replace those pesky door handles, which are crazy expensive from OEM stock. A company called 3D Beamer, which makes the door handles, about $198 and then $22 extra to color match to your interior color. So for $220, that's about a third of the cost of OEM stock. Link in the description. Thank you, Dave. And last but not least, Mayor had a suggestion for replacing your AC Evap. He wasn't sure how to do it. He found a handy guide, which I think is from the BMW tech manual, so I will put a link to that in the description as well. He did it and said it wasn't all that difficult. So folks, there you have it. Pretty simple, plenty of options out there for you. I think I'm going to like mine. We'll see. Time will tell. Again, if I have to replace it, it was $17. Hey folks, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you celebrate. If you found this content valuable, as always, please crush that like button. And until next time, remember, friends don't let friends drive boring.